On the news tonight, federal government inaugurates erosion intervention project in Cross River State. Independent National Electoral Commission discusses security ahead of 2023 general elections. Plus, court reserves ruling on application for bail in favor of University Don convicted for electoral fraud. Details shortly. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the news. I am Udwak Etam. The federal government resolved to address ecological challenges and bring succor to affected communities is yielding results. This is evident in the inauguration and formal handover of erosion control and road improvement project to Yanga, Ojo, Ifumpa, Uwai communities in Akampa local government area in Cross River State, which the Minister of State Power, Mr. Gadi Jediagba, says is one of the 23 ecological intervention projects approved by President Muhammadu Buhari. Justina April reports.
Oyanga, Ojo, Ifumpa, Owai communities have vast forest reserve. The area is also known for the cultivation of farm produce ranging from plantain, banana, and more. But getting these crops to the larger markets has always been a Herculean task due to the devastating effects of erosion in the area. With this intervention project, members of the community say this has not only become a thing of the past, but the project will attract development to the communities.
It helps us because it is very easy now for us to take our agricultural resources outside to sell to the urban area. It's a thing of joy.
While inaugurating the project, Minister of State Power says the project underscores the federal government's efforts in tackling problems of its citizens.
Further intervention will come, but let us watch what we do with this one first. If you misuse this one, no other one, they will not be encouraged to bring more.
For the initiator of the project and former head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Winifred Oyoita, and the project execution team, actualization of this project is in fulfillment of a promise made to the people.
It's the second of the projects which I put forward to the Ecological Funds Office. The first one was also successfully completed.
The main thing that we are into intervention, trying to come into situations where there are difficulties to ameliorate and help people to come out of troubled times.
The inauguration and handing over of the project will enable host communities achieve sustainability of the intervention work. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
Residents of Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, are appealing to government and relevant authorities to come to their aid and put an end to the continuous encroachment on roads and homes by erosion. Calvin Samuel reports that the situation is becoming worse by the day as the rain intensifies.
As the rainy season intensifies, there is the fear of the unknown among most residents of Uyo metropolis due to the ravaging effects of erosion which seem to be gradually enveloping the capital city. At Ipa Road area, the big gully created by erosion had already taken many buildings and gradually cutting off the major road. The Science Park axis leading to Calabar to highway, which would have been an escape route, is also gradually cutting off. A situation the people fear that they might wake up one day to see that they have been completely cut off from the capital city.
The situation at hand is critical because this is the only major road we have that access to different villages.
From Retongoku, Ibaku, now having difficulties to access to plaza, and
the road don't come for no road for us to go anywhere.
Meanwhile, those at Ikore are not also sleeping with their two eyes closed, with another gully site threatening to take down the entire area, with many buildings already caved in.
Well, now you've seen the condition of the place, and it's not, I'm not the only person that's being affected. You see the other building up there, about the whole of the building along this line have cracked. So I think the government should come in and see how to, if possible, compensate people, us, and help us relocate to.
So many houses here are collapsing because one of the company come and channel water into the ravine.
Experts say there is the need for a more careful study of the metropolis to come up with a permanent solution that will mark an end to this ugly experience among the people, most of whom are already rendered homeless by the situation. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, Nta News.
A high court sitting in Ikore, Akwa Ibom State has reserved ruling on an application for bail in favor of Professor Peter Ogban, who was convicted earlier this year over electoral fraud. The university don, who served as a returning officer during the 2019 elections in Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District, is seeking for bail pending the determination of his appeal against his conviction. Clement Barikui reports.
Professor Peter Ogban was found guilty of electoral fraud and consequently sentenced to 3 years imprisonment earlier this year. But the university don is back to the court through his lawyer Kanu Agabi, a senior advocate of Nigeria, to seek for bail while awaiting his appeal. Relying on the inherent powers of the court to grant the bail, supported by a 16-paragraph affidavit, notice for reason of appeal, and a medical report, counsel to the applicant Kanu Agabi SAN prayed the court to grant the application based on health ground. But in opposing the bail application, counsel to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Clement Owinwono, insisted that the applicant, having been convicted by the court, has lost his constitutional right to bail.
They have exhibited a medical report, and from our point of view, that medical report does not satisfy the requirements of the principles. So we've argued passionately that since he's been convicted, he has lost his constitutional right to bail, and he needed to have done more to be entitled to the exercise of the court's discretion. But every other thing is left for the judge to decide.
The applicant's counsel declined speaking to journalists on the matter. The presiding judge, Justice Pius Idiong, adjourned the case to July 12, 2021 for ruling on the bail application. In Ikore, Clement Barikui, Nta News.
The resident electoral commissioner Imo State, Professor Francis Ezenu, has stressed the need for effective participation by eligible indigents of the state in the ongoing continuous voter online registration exercise. He made this known while briefing journalists in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Fed Igwilo reports.
The rollout of the online registration by the Independent National Electoral Commission is to create more access for Nigerians who are of voting age to participate in the continuous voters registration exercise. The resident electoral commissioner, Imo State, Professor Francis Ezono, says the registration, which commenced on Monday, June 28, 2021, is already yielding results, as a reasonable number of people have registered. He, however, urges eligible participants to take advantage of the exercise, as INEC is determined to ensure that more Nigerians take part in the forthcoming elections.
Because of the enormous cost and the logistics of trying to reprint after every 10 years, the Commission changed the technology, which now gives it a limitless lifespan. How to replace your PVC? You can do that online. If you register and log on to the portal, you will see the column for replacement of lost or damaged PVC. Once you open it, you follow the prompts and you complete the process.
Professor Zono adds that the online registration will not eliminate the existing method, but will provide an alternative for those who have access to internet facilities. The briefing also afforded journalists opportunity to ask questions. In Owerri, Faith Igwilo, NTA News.
Securing lives and property during and after elections is posing serious concern to the Independent National Electoral Commission as some national commissioners join other partners to express securities and elections implications for Anambra State governorship and 2023 general elections. According to the report, the concern was the thrust of the annual Professor Abubakar Momo Memorial Lecture organized by the Electoral Institute, the research and training arm of INEC. You are still watching Nta Calabar News at 7. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/NTA Calabar. The news continues after this timeout. Stay with us.
As news breaks from the north, south, east, and west of Nigeria, we bring it to you. News from the length and breadth of Cross River State is sent to you via this channel.
With movers and shakers in various spheres of influence talking to us, we carve a niche and showcase our experience in broadcasting, because it's NTA Calabar before others.
You can't get this anywhere else. It's only here on NTA Calabar News, showing at this times 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 7 p.m. every day. NTA Calabar News. Our experience counts.
Establishing factories to create massive youth employment has been described as a major solution towards reducing criminality, youth restiveness, and poverty in Nigeria. This was the outcome of discussion between the Cross River State government and a food processing outfit hoping to invest in the state. Paul Ebel reports.
It is the belief of stakeholders that the relative peace being enjoyed in Cross River State, conducive weather conditions, and a thriving industrialization drive will serve as incentives to attract potential investors and market competitors to use the state as a base for production and distribution of products to other states. The interaction between these two parties is to arrive at an amicable agreement, as the state promises to provide land, among others, to enable the food and agro-allied companies set up and commence production, which will also create lots of job opportunities.
Factories play a rippling effect. Unemployment is the major challenge of Nigeria. But no matter what you say, it doesn't make sense for anybody who is in public office to focus on any infrastructure except a human person. Because it is important that that person fits so that you can have the industrial peace for you to develop your country or your state.
As a group, we've been here for 40 years. Mr. Madhukar here is representing the backward integration in terms of plantations initiative we do. So generally, at this point in time, trying to get foreign exchange and getting imported, it's not actually going to be sustainable. So at the end of the day, you have to fall back together, localizations efforts.
The organization also made a presentation on oil palm plantation, which it intends to establish one using oil as raw material to feed its factories as part of the backward integration policy. The team also visited some of the industries in the state. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The attention of the Lagos State Police Command has been drawn to the news making rounds that some individuals have concluded plans to stage a mega rally in continuation of the secessionist agenda for Oduwa Republic on 3rd July 2021. A statement by the Lagos State Police Command hereby warns that no rally will be allowed under whatever guise in any part of the state. The command warns the organizers and their followers against staging the planned demonstration. They are sternly advised to stay clear of streets of Lagos for the interest of the state and the general public, as anyone caught participating or facilitating the rally will be dealt with within the ambit of the law. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Akim Odomoshu, says the command will not be cajoled by the so-called organizers that the rally will be peaceful. The general public and all the law-abiding people of Lagos State are hereby urged to go about their normal daily activities, as the police and other security agencies have put measures in place to provide adequate and watertight security for all sundry in the state. 2 more students of Saliu Tanko Ismailia School, Tejina in Niger State, who were abducted over a month ago, have escaped from captivity. Mokhtar Abubakar from Tejina reports that the inhabitants of the town, who are currently living in constant fear, appealed to government to dispatch security personnel to the area, as many are fleeing the town for fear of unknown.
Sit Town, which was before now a beehive of activities, is now wearing a solemn look, with most of the shops closed for commercial activities, as people of the area are living in constant fear due to rumor of another attack by bandits. Most of the adjoining houses around Saliu Tanko Islamia School were also under lock and key, as residents reportedly deserted their place of abode for the fear of unknown.
The situation in our area is a situation of despair. People first are afraid, people feel abandoned, people feel insecure. In fact, the community is like empty, it's like a ghost town. Most people are leaving because they don't know when these bandits will come back again.
Particularly this area where the kidnap happened. If you go back here, you will not find any inhabitants there.
Ibrahim Jibrin, a student of GSS Tegina, was among the few residents roaming around the area, who says his father have him withdrawn from school for fear of being abducted.
My father did not take him to go back because I was leaving only their house. I want to go the school. I'm not go back again this one.
Meanwhile, the proprietor of the Saliu Tanko Islamia Tegina, Idris Umar, gave a true perspective on the 15 returnees that were earlier reported to have escaped from the kidnappers' den.
Only 3 are staff of the school out of the 15. The other one were all carried along the same day while moving into the bush. So they are the ones because they are all confined to one place together at where they kept them.
The jarring news, however, is that he confirms the recent return of 2 more students, even though he says one is yet to be identified.
2 of them returned, yes, but one of them were yet to identify who our parents are. But she doesn't know us, we don't know the headmaster, the other teachers. So we suspect that she will be one of the students that just resumed that day as a pupil of the school. But now she's under treatment. Once she's fully recovered, we'll be able to identify who she is.
The people are also appealing to government at all levels to step up security of lives and property in the area. From Tegina, a Rafi local government area of Niger State, Mokhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
On to sports. Aqua United FC chief coach Kennedy Boboye says his team will continue to take the matches one after a time to ensure they lift the NPFL trophy this season. John Paul Alumana, who was at the Gospel Akwabi International Stadium for Aqua United and Dakada FC home matches, reports that they were strictly played behind closed doors.
This is the main gate of the Gospel Akwabi International Stadium, Uyo. We are here for the match day 30 of the Nigeria Professional Football League between Dakada FC and Kwara United, and also another one between Aqua United and Nasarawa United. In line with LMC directive on playing the matches behind closed doors, the Akwa Ibom State FA and the security personnel are stationed here to ensure that only accredited journalists and stakeholders who have business with the match are allowed into the stadium.
Chairman of Akwa Ibom State FA, Imo Atat, says they are doing everything possible to ensure that LMC directive is strictly followed.
Ordinarily, we would allow people to come in, maybe charge some fee. That's what the FA does. But now, it's only the team, the playing away team and the home team, and maybe the referees and the other stakeholders that are allowed it, and journalists. The accredited numbers of journalists are 20. The FA people, even the FA itself, 20. If you don't fall on the date we are supposed to come, we don't allow you to come. So we are doing our best.
We are trying to comply with the directive by the LMC and NFF on the COVID-19 protocol in Akwa Ibom State. My only message to the LMC is that, one, let them throw various state FAs. Let them provide security for the best team to win a match. It's not a must that any home team must win. When once they provide the security and every match will go each free, then the best team will win the league.
The match between Dakada Football Club and Kwara United was decided with goals from Godwin Namato in the 45th minute and Emmanuel Charles in the 84th minute to ensure a convincing victory for Dakada Football Club. While Aqua United consolidated their position on top of the Nigeria Professional Football League table with a 2-1 win over Nasarawa United.
The only thing is that when you try to play against a big team, people that are contending, you try as much as you can to win them, which you've just done now to slow them down. Yeah, we'll be taking every game as once at a time. I think our next game now, what we are concentrating on is how to go to Jos and get something in Plateau. So as it comes, we take it like that.
There's nothing that went wrong. You can play excellently well and still lose. That is what we call gallant loss at times. So nobody will be held responsible for our losing.
Aqua United now have 56 points from 30 matches, followed by Nasarawa United and Kano Pillars with 52 points each. In Uyo, John Paul Alumon.
Let's join our sport desk for more reports.
The battle for those who will make the final roster of Nigeria's The Tigers Olympic team is getting intense as more NBA players arrive the team's training camp in Oakland, California. Detroit Pistons center and 2012 FIFA Under-17 World Cup most valuable player Jalil Okafor has linked up with the rest of the team in camp, and Mia Oni of the Utah Jazz has also joined the Tigers camp to increase the number of the NBA players vying as sport in the national team. Super Eagles coach Kenneth Rowe has joined the team in Los Angeles, United States of America, ahead of Saturday's international friendly game against Mexico. The Franco-German tactician who flew in from France will watch the home-based players taking on the senior national team of Mexico to see players that will be an integral part of the Team A. Meanwhile, the Eagles have their first training section few hours after their arrival, and FC Montreal forward Ibrahim Sanusi has been drafted in to join the home-based Eagles for the friendly match against Mexico. The Euro 2020 quarterfinals get underway in St. Petersburg tonight, with Switzerland hoping to cause another major shock. Switzerland got the better of world champions France in the round of 16, dumping them out of the competition after a penalty shootout. This will be the first time the two sides have ever met at a European Championship, although they have been well acquainted over the years with meetings at the 1966, 1994 and 2010 World Cup. Belgium will play Italy at the Allianz Arena in Munich, with the Belgians currently ranked the world's #1 side, having lost this year, while the Azzurri celebrated a new national record of 31 games unbeaten in the previous round. Roger Federer felt he has played one of his best matches of the year in beating Richard Gasquet in the second round at Wimbledon. The 8-time champion looked rusty in his injury-curtailed opening match against Andre Manarino, but he put in a far more accomplished display in a 7-6, 6-1, 6-4 win over Frenchman Richard Gasquet. In Abuja, Omoyeme Unubum, NTA News.
That wraps up our package for this evening, but before we go, a recap of the major stories. The federal government has inaugurated erosion intervention project at Uyama, Ojo, Ifumpa, Owai Junction in Akampa local government area of Cross River State. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has discussed security ahead of Anambra State governorship and 2023 general elections. It was also in the news that the State High Court sitting in Ikorekpena, Akwa Ibom State has reserved ruling on application for bail in favor of University Don Professor Peter Alban, convicted for electoral fraud. That is the package for this evening. Thanks for watching. Good night.